Well, okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes, okay. So some more people are coming. Right. Well, can you hear me? Yes, great, great. Okay. So we are starting, please, and some more people are still trying to let in. Great. Okay. So, hello, everybody. And today we're meeting as within the project which Moscow Pedagogical State University started to help the children, help their pupils get ready for their school state exam in English, and also improve their English. And maybe we can invite you to get acquainted with our university. Before we start, let me tell you a few words about our university. Moscow Pedagogical State University has been one of the leaders in teaching foreign languages. And I can tell you that in a very difficult time when Russian students didn't have the opportunity to speak to foreigners, to listen to English speech, to watch as many movies as you guys now can watch. So the Moscow Pedagogical State University developed the program for many Russian universities, and some Russian universities are still using this program, which was developed at Moscow Pedagogical State Universities. So let me tell you a few words about myself. My name is Россинская Екатерина Александровна. I am the assistant professor of Moscow State Pedagogical Institute, and now I'm currently working at the Institute of Foreign Education. I have the degree, I have the scientific degree, a PhD in theoretical grammar, but I'm really interested in teaching phonetics. Within this framework of this project, we receive a lot of questions from pupils, and some of you really want to know how you can improve English pronunciation and how you can sound as native speakers. Today, I have prepared a presentation which is called Best Strategies to Approach Reading Task. So I will give you some tips how to get ready for the speaking part, the assignment number 1, reading. But the tips we are going to discuss today will be could be effectively used to improve your pronunciation. Okay, so let's get started. Let's get started. Well, the next. Okay, so it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Let me see. Just tell me something. Okay. All right. Here it is. Okay. So what shall we start with? Imagine that that's your examination day, and you have to start your speaking assignment, and you know that reading assignment is the first one. Well, I think it is a very bad idea to start reading without any preparation. It's like singers. You know what singers do when they start singing? They will never start singing before warming up. Same here. What you should do, I think a very good idea is to do some warming up exercises. So I have prepared several warming up exercises to do before you do reading assignment. Okay, so let us see very simple sentences, limericks they're called. Well, let us first try to read them very slowly and making all sounds very clear. So let's start. Father, mother, sister, brother, hand in hand with one another. In these very simple sentences, there are so many sounds which my students, and probably some of you, may pronounce in a different way, not in the right way. So let us first look at the very simple words: father, mother, father, mother. You can see that the sound father is much longer than the sound mother, and it's important if you want to improve. Okay, just let me see. Just okay. Well, and of course, if you pronounce these words like slowly but very distinct sounds, like father. Let me see. Well, so something with it. Okay, so we'll continue. If we say like father, mother, sister, brother, then hand in hand. Well, very many of my students make mistakes in these words. So the correct word to pronounce these sounds is to open your mouth really wide. Hand in hand with one another. So when you pronounce these limerick slowly, with very clear consonants, you can you pronounce it a little faster. Father, mother, sister, brother, hand in hand with one another. And go faster and faster, or up to the point when all the sounds are very, very clear. Okay, so sometimes we have problems with such sounds as the and th. The and th. So if you can see the picture, the next slide, okay. So this is Elizabeth's birthday is on the 3rd Thursday of this month. So I'm sure that if you do it without warming up, I don't think you can pronounce this sentence correctly. Okay, so let's do the same procedure. Elizabeth's birthday is on the 3rd Thursday of this month. Okay, so okay, yes, and let us listen to the next slide. Let us listen to the next slide. Well, the same. This the sound, the sound. Okay, so this is the 6th zebra snoozing thoroughly. This is the 6th zebra snoozing thoroughly. Okay, hopefully you will be able to read the sentence after several rehearsals, and I think you can distinguish the sounds very, very well. Okay, now we go further. Yes, we go further. Please let me show you the next slide. Let me show you the next slide. Okay, so yes, okay, this is. Yes, let me see. Okay, so where is it? Yes. Okay. Well, our first step now, when you have done some warming up exercises, I would really recommend to pronounce some other limericks. These limericks will teach you how to pronounce the English sounds and also prepare your lips and your tongue to pronounce the words. Okay, so look at this one. The sound P and Russian P are different because we pronounce English sounds like P, P. And it is very important if you want to improve your pronunciation. Okay, look at this limerick, please. Look at this limerick. So this limerick trains the production of P sound. Well, and it should be like this. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. A pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, Where's the pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? So, if you produce this limerick, do not forget to pronounce P in the English way, not in the Russian way. The second point here is that when we produce this limerick, you don't say like this, Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled pepper. Okay, so you have to start very high. If you want to improve your English pronunciation, you have to start sentences very high. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled pepper, and move as if you are stepping down, okay? So, a pack of pickled pepper Peter Piper picked. If Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, where's the pack of pickled pepper Peter Piper picked? Okay, so this is another way to do some warming up exercises and to remember how to pronounce the sounds correctly. Okay, so we go further. We go further. So one more sounds which is very confusing. I don't know for which particular reason. So it's confusing for some of my students and some of the from the school children. Though it sounds really like a Russian one, and it should be pronounced just very simple to our V sound, to our V sound. But some students mistakenly pronounce it as W. But it would be the mistake because some words have different sound, W and V, and we have to be very careful here not to be confused. So when my students ask me how to pronounce this sound, actually it is very simple, because you have to think of the Russian sound V, like valenki, vaля, or some other word. So you have to come up with the Russian word and just pronounce it just the way you pronounce Russian sounds. Okay, let's try this example. Velvet silky, velvet soft, velvet's fine to touch. I like stroking velvet cushions very, very much. So that's children's limerick. But to pronounce it correctly, first you have to pronounce V very clearly, velvet. Then you don't say silky. That would be a very bad idea to pronounce. So velvet, S. S, you pronounce S like in sun, sun. Velvet, silky. Velvet, soft. Velvet's fine to touch. I like stroking velvet cushions very, very much. Okay, so the same here. Practicing sound V. Practicing sound V. Well, and one more sound which is also very, very sometimes difficult to pronounce, or maybe the sound where many students and many children make mistakes. It's W. W. When I explain how to pronounce this sound, I always try my students to blow the candle. You blow the candle on your birthday cake. What do? You like, same, this is the way how you pronounce sound W. And please do not be confused. W, V, two different sounds, and they make different words. So let us look at this also children's limerick. When the weather is wet, we must not fret. When the weather is cold, we must not scold. When the weather is warm, we must not storm. But be thankful together, whatever the weather. So let us clear out some of the most difficult parts here. So let us look at the first line. When the weather is wet. So you have to pronounce W 3 times. When the weather is wet. Then we will, today we will talk about it, that all the words have to be pronounced like one big word, like you sing a song. Do not say when the weather is wet. No, that would be really a bad idea. Well, when the weather is wet, do not forget, when the word ends in R, you have an extra sound. You have when the weather is wet, we must not fret. When the weather is cold, do not forget about O sound. It's not O, it's not cold, I'm sorry, but it's cold. We must not scold. When the weather is warm, we must not storm. But be thankful. Please do not forget, thankful is a very wide sound. You say thanks, you don't say thanks. You say thanks. So same here, you say, but be thankful together, whatever the weather. Well, okay. We go to the next one. So now when we have analyzed the most difficult sounds, well, from my experience, I would like to offer you some of the most common mistakes both students and school children do when they read text or they just speak. Okay, first, it's the word both, right? It's not both, it's both. And it's like cold and both. You have to pronounce this sound in a correct way. Then, off. It seems very simple, but in the speech, you'd better pronounce is as of. It's not off, it's of. Going, please keep in mind, it's not going, no, it's going, walking, taking, and so on. Well, various, also very many mistakes are made in this word, various. Well, now we are coming to more difficult words. Breathe and breath. To breathe fresh air, it's a verb. To do something. To do what? To breathe. What? A breath. To breathe some fresh air, a breath of fresh air. To do what? To bathe. To bathe. Bathe, but where do you bathe? You bathe in a bath. Bathe and bath. Well, they are different forms, different words, but they're very like denoting a very simple, very common meaning. Okay, live life. One also very common mistake is that you guys stress all words in the sentence. This is not a very good idea. So let's look at this very simple sentence. I can swim. But if you really want to improve your pronunciation, you will not say I can swim. No, you will say I can swim. So you have some words are important, some of words are not that important, and we can reduce them. We can reduce them. We can cut short on them. I can swim. Well, the next example, if you can see. 4 birds. Very simple, isn't it? But we have 2 sounds which are different. 4 birds. Sometimes when we are nervous or we are in a hurry, we pronounce these 2 sounds in a similar way. Well, I won't give you the incorrect pronunciation, but anyway, you have to be very careful here. For birds. English language. The English language has short and long sounds. Sometimes, if you don't pay attention, you may produce different words. For example, if you pronounce like meal, it's a long sound. You have a meal. You eat something. Meal, it's another word. And if you say meal with a short sound, I'm afraid you might be hungry because you don't have your meal. You will get your meal and you cannot eat it, unfortunately. Well, back to to do something, and what is it. So if you use your computer, it's the. So I use my computer. So if you say make use, it's s. To use the computer or to make use of my computer. Well, I think you about food and food, the example was already discussed in some of the previous sessions, so I will not concentrate on it. What I want to concentrate is very simple things. First of all, if you look at such words as boys, girls, spends, and opened. So what's the point, you will ask me? The point is that in these simple words, very many pupils make mistakes. They forget about the ending. They say boy because probably they're nervous. Maybe they want to start reading another word, or probably they do not see as difficulty. And very many of you just guys spend or forget about the endings. So before you will be given for your reading assignment, you will be given a minute and a half. So my advice to you would be to find all the words which have s, boys, girls, spends, and opened. And one more common mistake. Look at this ed. Look at this ed. Of course, probably your teachers corrected their mistake several times, but it's unfortunately it's a very common mistake. Well, do not pronounce e before d. Overworked and stressed. Overworked and stressed. So these are very common mistakes that I can tell you about, and here analyzing my experience and analyzing, I've been working with pupils for many years, training them for state exams. So monster words are the words which very of my students, of university students, of school children mispronounce, please. So monster words. The first group of monster words is the words through, thought, though. Through, thought, though. This is a dragon with 3 heads. Please keep that in mind. So if we have the GH at the end of the sentence, you pronounce them as f, f. Enough, laugh. Enough, laugh. We go further. Difficult words. The next couple. Anxious, anxiety. Anxious, anxiety. With the next group of words, picturesque, unique, it's really simple, in fact. You just forget about these UE and pronounce the words as picturesque and unique. That's it. Well, it's not that difficult. Well, luxury, luxurious. Luxury, luxurious. You may come across these monster words as well. So, and I think we are coming to the champions. So I call the champions the words where students and pupils make most of the mistakes. So the champion words here are Europe, European, psychology, sociology, and the funniest word here is the word cucumber. I can give you so many really funny variants of the wrong reading of this word, but I will not. I don't want you to pick up something of the kind. So it's cucumber. It's just cucumber. Well, and the final word is success. So of course there are very many other words difficult to pronounce, but I'm sure you will cope. You will manage to read the words correctly. Okay, so we have discussed the difficult sounds. We have discussed the monster words, we go further now. Intonation. Speaking, if you want to improve your pronunciation, it's not enough just to be able to pronounce the words correctly. You have to read correctly, and you have to be able to divide your sentence into groups, because it's not diving. You cannot hold your breath and hold it up to the end of the text. So what you should do is to take a sentence and divide it into groups. What we have here, for example, the text. A hobby is an activity you enjoy doing. It is something of your choice, something unique to your taste and talent. So this sentence is long, and if you don't make a pause, you will be out of your breath before you start the second sentence. So a good idea would be to divide the sentence into groups. We can do the same in the sentence. Oh, by the way, in my text, 2 slashes mean that this is a pause in the sentence. 3 slashes mean that this is a final pause, and the final pause is always longer than the pause in the sentence. Okay, let's go further. A hobby can improve our well-being. It can give more meaning to your life. Just as physical exercise is important for the body, relaxation of the mind is also essential. In fact, studies reveal that people who cultivate themselves through such activities are less likely to suffer from anxieties, depression, and other negative feelings. Okay, so here I have demonstrated to you how we can divide the sentence into groups. What do we do next? What do we do next? Next, friendly or unfriendly. So why? What's the point? You know, a lot of Russian people think that Russian people are very friendly, welcoming. This is really so, I think. But how can you answer the question why so many English or American people think that Russian people are very unfriendly? What's the point? The point here is intonation. If you listen to American or British speech, you can find lots of rising tones. Yes, thanks, goodbye, yes, okay. For the Russian language, these tones are not very common. We don't say da, спасибо, and so on. So this is not the Russian way of saying it. That's why, judging by the intonation, American and British people can say that we are not unfriendly, which is not the fact, which is not the point. So, and here we are coming to a very important point for the reading assignment and for any speaking assignment or just for any speech. So, to improve your pronunciation, as we agreed, you have to make your range very, very wide. So if Russians say, yes, я вчера пошел туда, я пошел туда, so the Russian do not use very wide range. Listen to the example, please. When you have a hobby, you will always find time for it. When you have a hobby, I will always find time for it. The political map shows territorial borders. You see, this is very, very important if you want to improve your speaking abilities and if you want to sound as a native speaker. So what is the strategy here? You look at the sentence and you find the first stressed syllable in the sentence. So you have the first stress. Первое ударение. You have the first stress. When you have a hobby, and the first stress have will be very, very high. When you have a hobby, you will always find time for it. When you have a hobby, you will always find time for it. Or let us take the first stress in the sentence. The political map shows territorial borders. The political map shows territorial borders. So this is very important. And if you follow this strategy, you will improve your pronunciation. You will improve your pronunciation. Okay. The next point is linking. Linking means that you don't pronounce all words separately. And in a song you do not make pauses between, you don't stop singing. Just in speech, when you speak, do not say here are, there are. No, that doesn't sound really good. Well, in the speech, you have to pronounce words together, like here are, there are. 4 eggs. No, that doesn't sound good. So 4 eggs, 4 eggs. Look at the next one. Media event. We don't normally start the word, or pronouncing the word with the vowel, or we don't pronounce them separately. Media event. Do not make pause. Do not make pause here. One of us. Also, do not make pause. No pauses. As we agreed before, you make pauses only if you have completed units. Only if you have completed units of the sentence. So once again, here are, there are, 4 eggs, media event, one of us. Okay. Yes, and one more very important thing, as we agreed. So you have to use rising and falling tones. Rising tones, thank you, goodbye, so long. So when you pronounce like this is called rising tone. Rising tone are not typical for the Russian language, while it is very, very typical for the English language. But in the Russian language, we really often use falling tones. And we have, if we want to improve our pronunciation, we have to use more rising tones. So let us look at the example. Punctuation mark. Запятые, точки, дефис, and so on. Okay, so punctuation marks. If you see one of the punctuation marks, do not forget to use rising tone. For example, just as physical exercise is important for the body, the relaxation of the mind is also essential. So you have the comma here, you see, and of course we use the rising tone. Well, in some sentences we have long subject, подлежащее, and predicate. So let us take a look at the example. The purpose of this physical map, this group is very long, and we have to use the rising tone after it. The purpose of the physical map, what does it mean? It means that you're going to continue, you're going on. So some continuation is coming. Well, if you say the purpose of the physical map, well, the people around will never know whether you're going to continue or it's full stop. So if you want to continue, use the rising tone. The purpose of the physical map is to show features of geography such as mountains, soil type, and land use, including roads, railroads, and buildings. One more thing here is when you have the phrase at the beginning of the sentence, the when or where phrase. For example, over the centuries, people explored most of the earth and put together the map of the world we use today. Over the centuries, well, again, rising tone. Or for example, at 2 o'clock, right? Or in 1918, or in 2010, and so on. So when, where phrase are pronounced with the rising tone. Okay. And the last one here is enumeration, when we add and add and add and add things. In fact, studies reveal that people who cultivate themselves through such activities are less likely to suffer from anxieties, depression, and other negative feelings. So when you add things, all the elements are pronounced with the rising tone: anxieties, depression, and other negative feelings. And only the last unit is pronounced with the falling tone. Only the last one. Only the last one. So now let us plan our strategy before speaking part. So before speaking part, reading. Before reading the text, do some warming up exercises. It's a must. You have to prepare yourself for reading. So it may be any limerick, but preferably an English one. You pronounce it slowly, then with very clear sounds, and then little by little you pronounce it faster and faster. So now then, at the exam, you will be given 1.5 minutes to read the text to yourself. What to focus on when you read the text to yourself? So, first of all, look for monster words. You have the list of monster words. It's though, thought, anxiety, and all the rest. Okay, so you have the list of them. Then, find all punctuation mark and be ready to divide the sentences into groups and plan the pauses. It's not a race. Do not be in a hurry. Slow down. Slow down. Plan the pauses. And of course, find all boys, girls, opens, and so on. Okay, so do not ignore them. Do not ignore them. And now we're coming to the third stage. While you read the text aloud, remember about the first syllable. Do not start. No. The political system of Great Britain, the political system, right? So do not forget to start very high. Okay, to start very high. And I think you can use these strategies for speaking and when you make presentations, or just in any colloquial speech, or any speech when you speak to your foreign friends. One more thing that I want, just the final thing I would like to comment on it. Well, how if you want to sound as native speakers, you have to know what happens when words are used in the text. Let us take a look at very, very simple dialogue, and I will show you what happens when the words are used in the sentences. Okay, Tom, what did you do today? Okay, let us try to think how a native speaker would pronounce this word. Tom, what did you do today? What did you do today? So first of all the words are pronounced together. Then you have today, but nobody will say today. What did you? You see the difference? It's not what did you, right? It's what did you do today? What did you do today? What did you do today? So it's not actually today, it's today. What did you do today? What did you do today? What did you do today? But if the word today is at the beginning of the sentence, you pronounce it today. Today, it's different, you know? One and the same word is pronounced differently when you pronounce it in the sentence, or it's depending on the position in the sentence. So what did you do today? What did you do today? Today, I woke up. Yes, then look at this end word. Look at this end word. Simple, isn't it? But you never pronounce and I went for a run. No, of course not. So what would you say here? Today, I woke up. Today, I woke up. Do not forget about this rising tone, because this is not the end of the sentence. Today, I woke up. instead of saying and, you say and I went, and I. Today I woke up and I went for a run. Do not say went for a run. No, that's a bad idea. So, and I went for a run, and I went for a run, and so, and two words are pronounced together, and then it just worked. So let's see. Tom, what did you do today? Today, I woke up and I went for a run, and then it just worked. Well, the next question. So, where do you run? Remember that if you start with the question with where or why or when, you use the falling tone. Where do you run? Where do you run? It's not where do you run, no. It's where do you run? Where do you run? The falling tone here. The falling tone is used. Okay. I run in Fort Greene Park in Brooklyn. I run in Fort Greene Park in Brooklyn. And again, we divide the sentence into two parts. I run in Fort Greene Park in Brooklyn. So these are the aspects I wanted to touch upon in my today's presentations. And I'm really looking forward to your questions. So I'm ready to answer your questions if you have any. I'm ready to answer your questions. Yes, please, you're welcome with your questions. You can write me the questions to the chat. So the question is, only British pronunciation is allowed. Well, you know, the main point is British pronunciation is better. But if you have strong American accent and you feel comfortable with it, I think you can pronounce it unless you do not change the way the word. You don't change the word. Okay, it's houses. It's houses. The question was how to pronounce, как произносить слово houses. It should be the z sound. It's houses. Okay. Yes. Is there a mistake in your last slide? What do you mean? Давайте посмотрим. What mistake? Давайте посмотрим. Which mistake? Wait a second. Woke up and went for run and run there. So where do you run? I run in there. So where is the mistake? Then today, okay, so let's see. So what did you do today? Today I woke up and went for a run and then I just worked. So where do you run? I ran in the Green Park in Brooklyn. What did you do today? Today I woke up and went for a run and then it just worked. No. Okay, so let me see some other questions. Mhm. Just let me see. There are two more. Okay. Can you repeat the common mistakes? Can you repeat the common mistakes? The meal and meal, so on. Okay, only pronunciation. Okay, no problem. So meal is a long sound. Let me demonstrate the screen for you to see the words. Okay, for you to see the words. Okay. So let me see. Where was it? Okay. Common mistakes. Well, once again, please. So once again, common mistakes. Meal, mill. Can you see this? Can you see this? Can you see the screen? Okay. Right. Okay. Can you see the screen? Meal. It's a long vowel. It's a long sound. Meal, mill, meal, mill. So if you say meal, you have food. So to have a meal at the restaurant, you have a meal in the restaurant. But if you have mill, it's the machine which grinds the grain. То есть это мельница, да, мельница. So you use it to ground coffee and so on. So meal, еда, meal, мельница, meal, meal. There are very many other examples, but you should be careful to pronounce meal, mill, meal, mill. So can I see some other of your questions? Так, Так, I think the question is, can we use past simple with today? Yes, of course, да. Of course we can use past simple today. Давайте я вам, if the period of time is over, you can use past simple with today if the period is over. For example, it's afternoon, but you did something in the morning and it is still today. And we can say, what did you do in the morning? So what did you do in the morning? Because morning is over. It's not morning anymore. So you can easily use past simple, of course, if the period, if this part of the day is over, no problem. Okay, yeah. Can you please pronounce once more for run, for run, for run, for run? So it's very, these words are pronounced together. They like merge. They become one word. For run, for run, for run, for run. And you have this linking for run. Так, можно исправить. Так, значит, вопрос, читаю вопрос. Если допущена ошибка во время чтения на экзамене, или имеет смысл исправляться, или следует продолжить читать дальше? Можно исправить. So, can you please pronounce once more for run? Yes, I have answered this question. Yes, let me see. Okay, for run. Okay, any sites to improve pronunciation? In fact, a very good question. Very good question. Are there any sites to improve pronunciation? You know, very many years ago, I found a brilliant phonetic course. It's called Just Chance. It's called Just Chance. I started using this course maybe like 15 years ago, and I'm still in contact with some of my students, and you know, they still remember those chants. They are brilliant in terms of imitating the intonation, but it's American intonation. Let me write to you to the chant. Well, please listen, you will love it. So this is these are chants, like rhythmically poems, where you can practice intonation and where you can practice the words and the very, very common phrases for English. Let me print it down. It's okay. Just a second. I really recommend it. Just chants. And the author. Oh, sorry. The author is American author Carolyn Graham. Her name is. I really recommend to you to watch. If you are interested in improving your pronunciation, this is just a brilliant course. So this is Just Chance by Carolyn Graham. So I really recommend. Just Chance by Carolyn Graham. She is the author. Actually, I really recommend this course to you because she offers to practice some grammar constructions, some everyday phrases. For example, you can say like, hi, how are you? Fine. How are you? I'm fine. How's Dale? He's fine. So you can see how it's absolutely perfect to practice your intonation as well. So good luck to you. Good luck to you if you're really interested. Well, yes, thank you. Okay. Yes, if you don't have any questions, so I have to say goodbye and I wish you luck at your examination and in studying language. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming and thank you for being with us. Thank you. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Okay, how to pronounce days of the week? How to pronounce days of the week? Well, I don't think there is a problem here. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Don't forget to say Saturday because this is very pleasant day. Do not forget to give it a good sound. Yes. Thank you, my dear. So no, if you don't have any further questions, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much.